Welcome everybody, this is Alan with Daily Armour of God. Thanks for joining me. Hope you're all doing well. This is Reading the Bible in 123 Days. We're on day 91. Today we have a lot to get through. We're going to be doing the rest of Daniel, reading all of Hosea, and first chapter of Joel. But first I wanted to clarify something. Yesterday I got a little bit confused. Being a stupid human that I am, I messed up and I thought that Belshazzar was Nebuchadnezzar's son, and I messed up. Belshazzar is just Daniel. Man. So all those names are very similar, like Nebuchadnezzar and his son's name and Daniel's name. So anyway, just wanted to clarify that. I messed up and I was thinking that Belshazzar was Nebuchadnezzar's son, and he's not. He's Daniel. Just a different name. Babylonian name for Daniel. Okay, now that we have that cleared up, let's continue here. Last chapter of Daniel, chapter 12. Verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as to the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, and the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, How long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, it shall be for a time, times and a half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth, and cometh to the 1,330 days. But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest, and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. So, that was short, but prophecy here. And you notice how Daniel got these visions and these prophecies and whatnot, but even he wasn't told the exact time or the very exact meaning. So, interesting how they showed him a little glimpse, but not completely everything. Okay, moving on to Hosea. I've heard it pronounced many different ways. But if you go back here to this chart, I like to refer to this chart because this is like the chronological order. We're going back. Hosea is back here in the time during the king's reign. So we just read Daniel, which was written during the captivity in Babylon. So we're going back in time a little bit to the time of kings. And Hosea says here it's the north. So he was in it's a kingdom of Israel. So if you recall, the kingdom was divided: kingdom of Judah, which included Benjamin, and then the kingdom of Israel, which included everything else. So yeah, we have Hosea. This is what we're going to start here right now. So remember, we're going to read about it, but this is a great chapter of how God feels, and we can get a picture of how God feels about what's going on. in Israel and the whole nation of Israel, the two kingdoms, all the idol worship and abominations that they're doing, worshiping other gods, and so he's using Hosea to show a picture of how he feels, and we're going to find out here very soon what that picture is like. So, Hosea, let's just say Hosea. All right. I'm sure his name was pronounced very differently back when this all took place, but let's just say Hosea. Hosea 1:1. The word of Yahweh that came to Hosea the son of Beeri in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam the son of Joash, king of Israel. So during the time of kings, like I said, during the split kingdom. So we're going back in time here a bit. The beginning of the word of Yahweh by Hosea, and Yahweh said to Hosea, Go, take unto thee a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms, for the land hath committed great whoredom, departing from Yahweh. So he did went and took Gomer the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son. And Yahweh said unto him, Call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu, and I will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. And it shall come to pass that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. And she conceived again and bare a daughter, and God said unto him, Call her name Lo-ruhamah, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away. But I will have mercy upon the house of Judah, and will save them by Yahweh their God, and will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, nor by horsemen. And when she had weaned Lo-ruhamah, she conceived and bare a son. Then said God, Call his name Laomi, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living God. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together, and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the days of Jezreel. Hosea 2. Say unto your brethren, Ami, and to your sisters, Ruhamah, Plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither I am her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked, and set her as in the day she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. Their mother hath played the harlot, she that conceived them hath done shamefully, for she said, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, mine oil and mine drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with thorns, and will make a wall, that she hath not find her paths. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them, and she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then was it better with me than now. For she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil, and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. Therefore I will return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and I will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness. Now I will discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of mine hand. I will also cause all her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, and her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts. And I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, whereof she hath said, These are my rewards that my lovers hath given me, and I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. And I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, wherein she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers, and forgat me, saith Yahweh. Therefore, behold, I will allure her, and bring her into the wilderness, and speak comfortably unto her, and I will give her her vineyards from thence, in the valley of Achor, for a door of hope. And she shall sing there, as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be at that day, saith Yahweh, that thou shalt call me Ishi, and shalt call me no more Bali. For I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and I will make them to lie down safely. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness, and in judgment, and in loving kindness, and in mercies. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know Yahweh. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith Yahweh, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I will say to them which were not my people, Thou art my people. And they shall say, Thou art my God. Hosea 3. Then said Yahweh unto me, Go yet, love a woman beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of Yahweh toward the children of Israel, who look to other gods and love flagons of wine. They brought her to me for 15 pieces of silver, and for a homer of barley and half a homer of barley, and I said unto her, Thou shalt abide for me many days, and thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man, so I will also be for thee. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim. Afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek Yahweh their God, and David their king, and shall fear Yahweh and his goodness in the latter days. Hosea 4. Hear the word of Yahweh, ye children of Israel, for Yahweh hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and every one that dwelleth therein shall languish. With the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven, yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Let no man strive nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priest. Therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore I will change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their iniquity. And there shall be like people, like priests, and I will punish them for their ways, and reward them their doings. For they shall eat and not have enough. They shall commit whoredom and shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed to Yahweh. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart. My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declareth unto them. For the spirit of whoredoms hath caused them to err, and they have gone a-whoring from under their God. They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountains, and burn incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery, for themselves are separated with whores. And they sacrifice with harlots, therefore the people that doth not understand shall fall. Thou, though, Israel, though thou, Israel, yes, we could interchange it, but Israel, play the harlot, let not Judah offend, and come not ye unto Gilgal, neither go ye up to Bethaven, nor swear, Yahweh liveth. For Israel slideth back as a backsliding heifer, now Yahweh will feed them as a lamb in the large place. Ephraim is joined to idols, let him alone. Their drink is sour, they have committed whoredom continually. Her rulers with shame do love, give ye. The wind hath bound her up in her wings, and they shall be ashamed because of their sacrifices. Now, can you see what this book is all about? How God views the nation of Israel. Not even the nation of Israel. He probably views this to everyone, even in today's time. If we backslide to the point where we're worshiping other gods, or even, become godless completely and don't worship anything but just worship ourselves and have our own form of idols, then it's like this. It's like exactly what we've been reading. God was espoused to the nation of Israel, so to speak. And what did they do? They committed fornication and adultery with other gods. So, and not only that, but they figuratively and literally did abominations and fornication. If you look into like what they were worshiping and what they were doing, it's really sick. But they would do the fornication, and then after they got seed, so to speak. I'm trying to say this with tact. They would give, how we've read so many times that they would have their seed pass through the fire. Yeah, they literally did that act, whoredoms, specifically to give their idols and their gods sacrifice at the end of their appointed time. If you guys know what I'm talking about. Again, I was trying to say that without being crude. But yeah, it's just sick. Look it up for yourself and look into who they're worshiping. Literally, it's the devil. And he requires sacrifices, and they were given him plenty of sacrifices. So, excuse me. Unfortunately, that is just the reality that they were doing that. So, it's sickening, but it happened, and that's and it's happening today too. By the way, all this stuff, and that's just how God views it. I mean, there's no other word that fits perfectly other than abomination. They were doing abominations, and literally and figuratively committing whoredoms. Like, it's sick. Just sick. The whole thing. If you look into it, it's just sickening. Yeah, that's all I'll say about it. But let's just continue. Hosea 5. Hear ye this, O priests, and hearken, ye house of Israel, and give ye ear, O house of the king, for judgment is toward you, and because ye have been a snare on Mizpah, and a net spread upon Tabor. And the revolters and profound to make slaughter, though I have been a rebuker of them all. I know Ephraim, and Israel is not hid from me. For now, O Ephraim, thou committest whoredom, and Israel is defiled. They will not frame their doings to turn unto their God, for the spirit of whoredoms is in the midst of them, and they have not known Yahweh. And the pride of Israel doth testify to his face, therefore shall Israel and Ephraim fall in their iniquity. Judah also shall fall with them. They shall go with their flocks and with their herds to seek Yahweh, but they shall not find him. He hath withdrawn himself from them. They have dealt treacherously against Yahweh, for they have begotten strange children. Now shall a moth devour them. Now shall a month devour them with their portions. Blow ye the cornet in Gibeah, and the trumpet in Ramah. Cry aloud at Bethaven. After thee, O Benjamin. Ephraim shall be desolate in the day of rebuke. Among the tribes of Israel have I made known that which shall surely be. Princes of Judah were like them that remove the bound. Therefore I will pour out my wrath upon them like water. Ephraim is oppressed and broken in judgment, because he willingly walked after the commandment. Therefore will I be unto Ephraim as a moth, and to the house of Judah as rottenness. When Ephraim saw his sickness, and Judah saw his wound, then went Ephraim to the Assyrian and sent to King Jareb. Yet could he not heal you, nor cure you of your wound. For I will be unto Ephraim as a lion, and as a young lion to the house of Judah. I, even I, will tear and go away. I will take away, and none shall rescue him. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. And their affliction they will seek me early. Sometimes that's what it has to be. You know, God here, you might think he's cruel, but he's not. He's being merciful by punishing them. You know how many times the Bible we read about chastisement? The chastisement of God. That means he loves us. He won't chastise, these heathens. I mean, yeah, they'll pay for their sin, but he doesn't chastise them, meaning punishes them, but also gives them mercy and allows them to come back to him. So there's a difference between chastisement and just a punishment. So here he's chastising them, and it may seem cruel and wicked, but they are so blind and stiff-necked and hard of heart and so obsessed with their abominations that they will not turn to God no matter what he does. So all this is talking about the coming captivity of Babylon. Remember, this is before they're taken away captive. So he's going to punish them through the captivity of Babylon, because they're so, like I said, so hard of heart that they will not change from their ways, stop doing their wicked abominations. So the only thing God can do is allow them to be, captured, killed, or taken captive into Babylon, where they will finally see the error of their ways and turn to God, right? And that sometimes has to happen here today. If we backslide so much, or if we're not following the right path, God will chastise us to get us back on the right path. That's the whole reason of chastisement, to get us back on the right path, right? He wants to get his people, Israel here, back on their right path to him. Same with us today. He wants to get us back on the right path. So if we're going through something, it could be, not necessarily all the time, but it could be that he wants to get us back on the right path. There's lots of lessons here in Hosea, which a lot of people just discard, but lots of lessons. You can find a lesson in every single book of the Bible if you look carefully. Hosea 6. Come and let us return unto Yahweh, for he hath torn, and he will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up. After 2 days he will revive us, and the third day he will also raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. Then we shall know, if we follow on to know Yahweh, his going forth is prepared as the morning, and he shall come unto us as the rain, as the latter rain and former rain unto the earth. O Ephraim, what shall I do unto thee? O Judah, what shall I do unto thee? For your goodness is as a morning cloud, and as the early dew it goeth away. Therefore have I hewed them by the prophets, I have slain them by the words of my mouth, and thy judgments are as the light that goeth forth. For I desired mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. But they like men have transgressed the covenant, and they have dealt treacherously against me. Gilead is a city of them that work iniquity, and is polluted with blood. And as troops of robbers wait for a man, so the company of priests murder in the way of consent, for they commit lewdness. I have seen a horrible thing in the house of Israel. There is whoredom of Ephraim, Israel is defiled. Also, O Judah, he has set harvest for thee when I returned the captivity of my people. So, just all around, there's just horrible wickedness going on, and nothing is stopping them from their wickedness. They're just doing it, shedding innocent blood and doing all these wicked, evil abominations, just like they're doing today, unfortunately. And it's just sickening how much they're doing, probably worse than what they were doing. As progression goes, things get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's only natural to think that the wickedness that's going on in today's world is way more wicked than what was going on back then. So all I could say is, come Lord Jesus, come, because this wicked world needs to be punished severely. Hosea 7. When I would have healed Israel, then the iniquity of Ephraim was discovered, and the wickedness of Samaria, for they commit falsehood, and the thief cometh in, and the troop of robbers spoileth without. They consider not in their hearts that I remember all their wickedness. Now their own doings have beset them about, and they are before my face. They make the king glad with their wickedness, and the princes with their lies. They are all adulterers, as an oven heated by the baker, who ceaseth from raising after he hath kneaded the dough, until it be leavened. In the day of our king the princes have made him sick with bottles of wine. He stretched out his hand with scorners. They have made ready their heart like an oven. Whilst they lie in wait, their baker sleepeth all the night. In the morning it burneth as a flaming fire. They are all hot as an oven, and have devoured their judges, and all their kings are fallen. There is none among them that calleth unto me. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Strangers have devoured his strength, and he knoweth it not. Yea, grey hairs are here and there upon him, and yet he knoweth it not. The pride of Israel testifieth to his face, and they do not return to Yahweh their God, nor seek him for all this. Ephraim also is like a silly dove without heart. They call to Egypt, they go to Assyria. When they shall go, I will spread my net upon them, I will bring them down as the fowls of the heaven. I will chastise them as their congregation hath heard. Woe unto them, for they have fled from me. Destruction unto them, because they have transgressed against me. Though I have redeemed them, yet they have spoken lies against me. And they have not cried unto me with their heart. They have howled upon their beds, and they have assembled themselves for corn and wine, and they rebel against me. Though I have bound and strengthened their arms, yet do they imagine mischief against me. They return, but not to the Most High. They are like a deceitful bow. Their princes shall fall by the sword for the rage of their tongue. They shall be their derision in the land of Egypt. Hosea 8. Set the trumpet to thy mouth. He shall come as an eagle against the house of Yahweh, because they have transgressed my covenant, and trespassed against my law. Israel shall cry unto me, My God, we know thee. Israel hath cast off the thing that is good, the enemy shall pursue him. They have set up kings, but not by me. They have made princes, and I knew it not. Of their silver and of their gold have they made them idols, that they may be cut off. Thy calf, O Samaria, hath cast thee off. Mine anger is kindled against them. How long will it be ere they attain to innocency? For from Israel was it also, the workman made it. Therefore it is not God, but the calf of Samaria that shall be broken in pieces. For they have sown the wind, they shall reap the whirlwind. It hath no stalk, the bud shall yield no meal. If so it be yield, the stranger shall swallow it up. Israel is swallowed up, now they shall be among the Gentiles as a vessel, wherein is no pleasure. They are gone up to Assyria, a wild ass alone by himself. Ephraim hath hired lovers. Yet though they have hired among the nations, now will I gather them, and they shall sorrow a little for the burden of the king of princes. Because Ephraim hath made many altars to sin, altars shall be unto him to sin. I have written to him great things in my law, but they were counted as a strange thing. They sacrifice flesh for the sacrifices of mine offerings, and eat it, but Yahweh accepteth them not. Now will he remember their iniquity, and visit their sins. They shall return to Egypt. For Israel hath forgotten his Maker, and builded temples, and Judah hath multiplied fenced cities, but I will send fire upon his cities, and it shall devour the palaces thereof. Hosea 9. Rejoice not, O Israel, for joy, as other people. For thou hast gone a whoring from thy God, thou hast loved your reward upon every corn floor. The floor and the winepress shall not feed them, and the new wine shall fail in her. They shall not dwell in Yahweh's land, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt. They shall eat unclean things in Assyria. They shall not offer wine offerings to Yahweh, neither shall they be pleasing unto him. Their sacrifices shall be unto them as the bread of mourners. All that eat thereof shall be polluted, for their bread and their soul shall not come into the house of Yahweh. What will ye do in the solemn day, and in the day of the feast of Yahweh? For lo, they are gone because of destruction. Egypt shall gather them up, Memphis shall bury them, the pleasant places of their silver, nettles shall possess them, thorns shall be in their tabernacles. The days of visitation are come, the days of recompense are come. Israel shall know it, the prophet is a fool, the spiritual man is mad, for the multitude of thine iniquity and the great hatred. The watchman of Ephraim was with my God, but the prophet is a snare of a fowler in all his ways, and hatred in the house of his God. They have deeply corrupted themselves as in the days of Gibeah. Therefore will he remember their iniquity, he will visit their sins. I found Israel like grapes in the wilderness. I saw your fathers as the first ripe in the fig tree at her first time. But they went to Baal Peor, and separated themselves unto that shame, and their abominations were according as they loved. As for Ephraim, their glory shall fly away like a bird from the birth, and from the womb, and from the conception. Though they bring up their children, yet I will bereave them, that there shall not be a man left, yea, woe also to them when I depart from them. Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, is planted in a pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer. Give them, O Yahweh. What wilt thou give? Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breasts. All their wickedness is in Gilgal. For there I hated them. For the wickedness of their doings I will drive them out of mine house. I will love them no more. All their princes are revolters. Ephraim is smitten, their root is dried up, they shall bear no fruit. Yea, though they bring forth, yet will I slay, even the beloved fruit of their womb. My God will cast them away, because they did not hearken to him, and they shall be wanderers among the nations. Hosea 10. Israel is an empty vine, he bringeth forth fruit unto himself. According to the multitude of his fruit hath he increased the altars, according to the goodness of his land they have made goodly images. Their heart is divided, now shall they be found faulty. He shall break down their altars, he shall spoil their images. For now they shall say, We have no king, because we fear not Yahweh. What then should a king do to us? They have spoken words, swearing falsely in making a covenant. Thus judgment springeth up as hemlock in the furrows of the field. The inhabitants of Samaria shall fear because of the calves of Bethaven, for the people thereof shall mourn over it, and the priests thereof that rejoiced on it, for the glory thereof because it departed from it. Shall be also carried unto Assyria for a present to King Jareb. Ephraim shall receive shame, and Israel shall be ashamed of his own counsel. As for Samaria, her king is cut off as the foam upon the water. The high places also of Even, the sin of Israel, shall be destroyed. The thorn and the thistle shall come up on their altars, and they shall say to the mountains, Cover us, and to the hills, Fall on us. O Israel, thou hast sinned from the days of Gibeah, and there they stood. The battle in Gibeah against the children of iniquity did not overtake them. It is my desire that I should chastise them, and the people shall be gathered against them, when they shall bind themselves in their two furrows. And Ephraim is as an heifer that is taught, and loveth to tread out the corn. But I passed over upon her fair neck. I will make Ephraim to ride. Judah shall plow, and Jacob shall break his clods. Sow to yourselves in righteousness, reap in mercy. Break up your fallow ground, for it is time to seek Yahweh, till he come and rain righteousness upon you. Ye have plowed wickedness, ye have reaped iniquity, ye have eaten the fruit of lies, because thou didst trust in thy way, and the multitude of thy mighty men. Therefore shall a tumult arise among thy people, and all thy fortresses shall be spoiled, as Shalman spoiled Betharbal in the day of battle. The mother was dashed in pieces upon her children, so shall Bethel do unto you because of your great wickedness. In a morning shall the king of Israel utterly be cut off. Hosea 11. When Israel was a child, when I loved him, then I loved him, and called my son out of Egypt. As they called them, so they went from them. They sacrificed under Baalim, and burnt incense to graven images. I taught Ephraim also to go, taking them by their arms, but they knew not that I healed them. I drew them with cords of a man, with bands of love, and I was to them as they take off the yoke on their jaws, and I laid meat unto them. He shall not return into the land of Egypt, but the Assyrian shall be his king, because they refused to return. And the sword shall abide on his cities, and shall consume his branches, and devour them, because of their own counsels. And my people are bent to backsliding from me, though they called them to the Most High, none at all would exalt him. How shall I give thee up, Ephraim? How shall I deliver thee, Israel? How shall I make thee as Admah? How shall I set thee as Zeboim? Mine heart is churned within me, my repentings are kindled together. I will not execute the fierceness of mine anger, I will not return to destroy Ephraim. For I am God, and not man, the Holy One in the midst of thee, and I will not enter into the city. They shall walk after Yahweh, they shall roar like a lion. When he shall roar, then the children shall tremble from the west. They shall tremble as a bird out of Egypt, and as a dove out of the land of Assyria, and I will place them in their houses, saith Yahweh. Ephraim compassed me about with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit, but Judah yet ruleth with God, and is faithful with the saints. Hosea 12. Ephraim feedeth on the wind, and followeth after the east wind. He daily increaseth lies and desolation, and they do make a covenant with the Assyrians, and oil is carried into Egypt. Yahweh hath also a controversy with Judah, and will punish Jacob according to his ways, according to his doings will he recompense him. He took his brother by the heel in the womb, and by his strength he had power with God. Yea, he had power over the angel, and prevailed. And he wept, and made supplication to him. He found him in Bethel, and there he spake with us. Even Yahweh, God of hosts, Yahweh is his memorial. Therefore turn thou to thy God, keep mercy and judgment, and wait on thy God continually. He is a merchant, and the balances of deceit are in his hand. He loveth to oppress. And Ephraim said, Yet I am become rich, I have found me out substance. In all my labors they shall find none iniquity in me that were sin. And I that am Yahweh thy God from the land of Egypt will yet make thee to dwell in tabernacles, as in the day of the solemn feast. I have also spoken by the prophets, I have multiplied visions, and I used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. Is there iniquity in Gilead? Surely they are vanity. They sacrifice bullocks in Gilgal, yea, their altars are as heaps in the furrows of the fields. And Jacob fled in the country of Syria, and Israel served for a wife, and for a wife he kept sheep. And by a prophet Yahweh brought Israel out of Egypt, and by a prophet was he preserved. Ephraim provoked him to anger most bitterly, therefore shall he leave his blood upon him, and his reproach shall his Lord return unto him. Hosea 13. When Ephraim spake trembling, he exalted himself in Israel, but when he offended in Baal, he died. And now they sin no more. They sin more and more, and have made them molten images of their silver and idols according to their own understanding, all of it the work of craftsmen. They say of them, Let the man that sacrifice kiss the calves. Therefore they shall be as the morning cloud, as early dew that passeth away, as the chaff that is driven from the whirlwind out of the floor, and as the smoke out of the chimney. Yet I am Yahweh thy God from the land of Egypt, and thou shalt know no God but me, for there is no Saviour beside me. I did know thee in the wilderness, in the land of the great drought. According to their pastures, so were they filled, and they were filled, and their heart was exalted. Therefore have they forgotten me. Therefore I will be unto them as a lion, as a leopard by the way will I observe them. I will meet them as a bear that is bereaved of her whelps, and I will rend the caul of their heart, and there will I devour them like a lion. The wild beast shall tear them. O Israel, thou hast destroyed thyself, but in me is thine help. I will be thy king. Where is any other that may save thee in all thy cities, and thy judges of whom thou saidst, Give me a king and princes? I gave thee a king in mine anger, and took him away in my wrath. The iniquity of Ephraim is bound up, his sin is hid. The sorrows of a travailing woman shall come upon him. He is an unwise son, for he should not stay long in the place of breaking forth of children. I will ransom them from the power of the grave. I will redeem them from death. O death, I will be thy plagues. O grave, I will be thy destruction. Repentance shall be hid from mine eyes, though he be fruitful among his brethren. An east wind shall come, the wind of Yahweh shall come up from the wilderness, and his spring shall become dry, and his fountain shall be dried up. He shall spoil the treasure of all pleasant vessels. Samaria shall become desolate, for she hath rebelled against her God. They shall fall by the sword, their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. Hosea 14. O Israel, return unto Yahweh thy God, for thou hast fallen by thine iniquity. Take with you words and turn to Yahweh. Say unto him, Take away all iniquity and receive us graciously. So will we render the calves of our lips. Asshur shall not save us. We will not ride upon horses, neither will we say any more to the work of our hands, Ye are our gods. For in thee the fatherless findeth mercy. I will heal their backsliding, and I will love them freely, for mine anger is turned away from him. I will be as the dew unto Israel. He shall grow as the lily, and cast forth his roots as Lebanon. His branches shall spread, and his beauty shall be as olive tree, and his smell as Lebanon. They that dwell under his shadow shall return, and they shall revive as the corn, and grow as the vine. The scent thereof shall be as the wine of Lebanon. Ephraim shall say, What have I to do any more with idols? I have heard him, and observed him. I am like a green fir tree. From me is thy fruit found. Who is wise? And he shall understand these things. Prudent, and he shall know them. For the ways of Yahweh are right, and the just shall walk in them, but the transgressors shall fall therein. And Joel, chapter 1. So moving on to Joel, go back to this chart here. Joel is in the south kingdom, and it's still during the time of kings. So, still in that time period, time of kings. The word of Yahweh that came to Joel the son of Pethuel. Hear this, ye old men, and give ear all the inhabitants of the land. Hath this been in your days, or even in the days of your fathers? Tell ye your children of it, and let your children tell their children, and their children another generation. That which the palmer worm hath left hath the locust eaten, and that which the locust hath left hath the cankerworm eaten, and that which the cankerworm hath left hath the caterpillar eaten. Awake, ye drunkards, and weep, and howl, all ye drinkers of wine, because of the new wine, for it is cut off from your mouth. For a nation has come up upon my land, strong and without number, whose teeth are the teeth of a lion, and he hath the teeth of a great lion. He hath laid my vine waste, and barked my fig tree, and hath made it clean bare, and cast it away. The branches thereof are made white. Lament like a virgin girded with sackcloth for the husband of her youth. The meat offering and the drink offering is cut off from the house of Yahweh. The priests and Yahweh's ministers mourn. The field is wasted, and land mourneth, for the corn is wasted, and the new wine is dried up. The oil languisheth, Be ye ashamed, O ye husbandmen, howl, O ye vine dressers, for the wheat and for the barley, because the harvest of the field is perished. The vine is dried up, and the fig tree languisheth. The pomegranate tree, the palm tree also, the apple tree, even all the trees of the field are withered, because joy is withered away from the sons of men. Gird yourselves and lament, ye priests, howl, ye ministers of the altar. Come, lie all night in sackcloth, ye ministers of my God, for the meat offering and the drink offering is withholden from the house of your God. Sanctify ye a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land into the house of Yahweh your God, and cry unto Yahweh. Alas for the day of Yahweh is at hand, and a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Is not the meat cut off before our eyes, yea, joy and gladness from the house of our God? The seed is rotten under their clods, the garners are laid desolate, the barns are broken down, for the corn is withered. How do the beasts groan? The herds of cattle are perplexed, because they have no pasture, yea, the flocks of the sheep are made desolate. O Yahweh, to thee I will cry, for the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flame hath burned all the trees of the field. The beasts of the field cry also unto thee, for the rivers of waters are dried up, and the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness. So we see here in Joel the more warning of what's going to come. The captivity of Babylon is about to come. But that's going to be it for today. We read all of Hosea, we finished Daniel, and we just have a few more days of the Old Testament. Then we're moving on to the New Testament. So we're going to be going through a lot of, it's going to seem like a lot, but it's really a lot of these books coming up are very short. So it's going to seem like a lot of reading, but it's not. As you saw, Hosea had 14 chapters, but a lot of them were really short. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Remember to put God first in everything you do. Have faith in Him, trust in Him, wait upon Him, and you'll never be sorry. And God willingly, we'll see you tomorrow with more Bible reading. So thank you, and take care. Bye-bye.